Hey, you're listening to the Coffee O'Clock podcast, the show that brings you joy and inspiration, with special guests from all around the world who have an amazing story and expertise to evolve your personal and professional life. I am your host, Burcu Onaranel, the founder of Joy Marketing and Coaching. Make sure you grab your coffee and get ready to explore new ideas. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Another amazing episode with Lindsay DeOliveira. I love her last name. Welcome. Lindsay is the founder and CEO of Soothe Beginnings. And I'm not going to say anything more because she's here. We will jump right into our topic, which is overcoming hurdles and finding support. She is here to empower parent entrepreneurs. So if you're an entrepreneur and a parent, tune in now. Welcome, Lindsay. Let's do it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Clock starts officially. How are you today?
I am so good. I'm so excited to be here. I love that you take, what's going on in the real world, but you make it inspirational and joyful to listen to because there's so much negativity in the world. So to have like a happy, positive take on things, I'm here for it.
Perfect. I love it. And I am all about it because I believe in any situation, any negative situation, we can find joy somewhere.
I agree.
Let's find it. So I introduced you a little bit. I said you are the CEO and founder of Soothe Beginnings, but it's not enough for our audience and not enough for me, even though I know you before. So can you introduce yourself a little bit and what you do, who you are, Lindsay?
Yeah, so I'm Lindsay Diolivera. I invented the modern pacifier because I was so frustrated with the pacifier situation with a crying newborn. I was like, you know what? There just has to be a better way, an easier way. And along the way, I was like, you know what? This annoyed me about pacifiers. This annoyed me. I didn't like this feature. This feature is not ideal. So I totally reinvented the whole thing and it was like, I'll just do it better. And that's what I'm doing. I'm a mom. My daughter's almost 3. She's the one that inspired all of this. And I'm a real mom. I'll be in meetings and you see my toddler moving lighting behind me. And it's part of the experience. It's a baby company. So if I don't have a toddler around somewhere, what am I doing, right?
I love that. Where is she now?
She's actually at summer camp this morning, which is fantastic. She needed it. I needed it. It's great.
That's amazing. And that's amazing. You said she helped you to find this. So it's very inspirational.
Yeah.
So she is also the guidance for this. So how did you,
Yeah.
I know you were frustrated, but so many people are frustrated for so many things, but you invented it. So how did you get that idea of creating it and starting your business? Like, this is a huge thing to do. So tell us
Yeah.
more about it.
So we had like a double whammy of the newborn stage. I had postpartum depression. My daughter was colicky with reflux. So there was a lot of crying going on. And nothing will make you more desperate to stop a baby crying than a colicky baby. So I was like, this just has to be simpler because we're going through all these pacifiers. And I felt like every parent I talked to was like, oh yeah, we've got a reject pacifier drawer too. So almost like became like a running joke. And I was like, why is this so difficult for new parents? So it was like weird. Like I feel like the idea just kind of like hit me out of nowhere of there can be interchangeable pacifiers that go from soothing to teething to weaning. All we do is swap out the nipple. So right from the jump, you have everything you need. That way you're not sending your husband to the store at 2 a.m. to try to find another path because that's reality. So realizing, you know what, something can actually be done about this. And I tackled it from an evidence-based approach and went right to safety consultants and all the experts I could possibly find to weigh in to how could I make the perfect pacifier so a new parent doesn't have one more thing to frustrate them.
Yes, perfect. It's like we need you in this world.
Yeah.
We need people more like you who solve problems that we all
Yeah.
go through. And it's very hard. I've heard many stories about, post giving birth, postpartum. So I
Yeah.
want to acknowledge that, and I want to touch that part a little bit, if you
Mm.
don't mind sharing. Like, how did you
I'm an open book on it.
shift your mind? Like, how did you overcome those times? Like, what was the experience look like, and how did you
Yeah.
become this person, like in front of me, very joyful, having her own company and loving the daughter she has, and accepting all the challenges and rolling with it? Like, we need this information, and I'm a future mom. I don't have a baby, and I'm planning to have. So I want to know, like, what I need to do when I have those days, because I know I
Yeah.
will have. So tell us.
So the biggest thing I would say is make sure you have a medical team before you give birth that you know you can be honest with. Because it's really weird when you're in that postpartum depression headspace, your brain is lying to you. Your brain is telling you, I can't tell them what my thoughts actually are, or they're going to take my baby away. Like you have all these insane thoughts. So
Mhm.
before you even go through birth, making sure you absolutely have a team around you that you trust, whether that is a partner, medical personnel, family, friends. Like there has to be at least one person you can be so severely honest with that you
Mhm.
know you and your baby are totally safe. That was huge. Having my husband was incredible. My doctor was amazing. So in the US, they typically don't see you till 6 weeks post birth.
Wow.
Yeah. And my doctor is very unique. She actually does a 2-week checkup.
Oh, nice.
That is like almost unheard of here. So in the US, you give birth and they're like, be free. We'll see you in 6 weeks just to make sure you physically healed.
68.
See ya. Yeah, pretty much. So like that whole mental aspect isn't even a part of it here. So the fact that I saw my doctor at 2 weeks and she's very much someone I could trust, she knew I was struggling and we immediately got me on medication. And I already had a cognitive behavioral therapist that I knew from previous that is also somebody I could trust.
Mhm.
So I got on medication that day, and I also called the therapist that day and made sure my husband knew everything that was going on. So there were eyes on me, eyes on my baby, making sure we are both safe above all else. But it wasn't fair to my daughter and it wasn't fair to my husband for me to not take action. I had to do something. It was genuinely the darkest time of my entire life. And there was no way, this wasn't the experience I envisioned. This wasn't the experience I thought it would be. So making sure I had that team in place and was ready to take action with it was the biggest part of it, and actively working towards it. And having that community around me was just so impactful.
Yes. And it's so important to have those people, and also being aware of this. Like, you sounded like you were aware of this, that you have
Yeah.
all these people. And what was it look like when you maybe, like, first give the birth and first couple of days? Like, what was it look like for you? Like, what were the um not necessarily specifically sharing the thoughts, but how were you feeling? Like, did you love the baby, or did you have like some sort of rejection? Or I'm so curious, like, how was the whole experience the
I
first.
love that you're actually bringing this up because not a lot of people talk about this, ask about this, or even honest about this.
Mhm.
So I gave birth, and literally, I can tell you the moment it hit me. I'm holding my baby in a wheelchair, being wheeled from, like, we had a great golden hour and breastfed. My husband cried, I think, like the whole hour. Like it, that in itself, I will say, was a very cool experience. And then I'm holding my baby being wheeled from the delivery room to the recovery room, and that's when it hit me. That's when like postpartum depression like clicked in, and I felt a disconnect. I
Oh.
it, yeah, it was so weird So we spent 3 days in the hospital, and I was not capable of bonding with my baby. I was just trying to get through diaper changes and feeding her on demand and, doing what we had to do. Um, it was a really odd experience. And I will say, having talked to other parents, for some of us, it does take time to bond with our babies. And I do believe the depression was an aspect of part of mine. But going into the birth experience open minded of you already love your baby, but to fall in love, it's
Mhm.
okay that it can take time. You have to get to know them. Like for some people it's this instantaneous thing. Like there for me there was like this instant like I have to take care of her, like that was there immediately, but falling in love took time. And I will
Mm.
say, so she's almost 3 now, and the more personality that emerges in the person she becomes, like it gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And it has been one of those experiences that has only gotten better and better and better. And one of the best things someone shared with me, and this really helped me get through a lot, was that parenthood is full of different seasons.
Mm.
Every season, so if there's something you really can't stand about the stage you're in or the season you're in, it's going to change very quickly. And it does.
Mm.
So, and it was like, that is such good advice because this is not permanence. It will not always be like this. There are different and better times coming. Every stage has its pros and cons, but knowing that this stage right now is not forever is really impactful.
Yes, true. It's really true. Both things, like every, I would say, relationship, it is the same with your partner too. When you are
Hmm.
boyfriend and girlfriend, it's different season. When you're fiance, it's different. When you're married, it's a completely different season. And when you are over a year of being in a marriage, it's a different. So,
Yeah.
it always changes the season. So
Yes.
hearing,
Parenthood really changes the season.
yeah, it's
That-
very, very interesting. And I
It
think the
is.
point is keeping our love and joy alive, and expanding it is the key. And hearing
Yes.
you share that loving and then falling in love with the baby is
Hmm.
so amazing to hear, and I am sure it's just a precious feeling. And thank you for sharing your moments and
Yeah.
the things that people don't talk about. And that's why I ask these questions, because so many
Yeah.
people don't talk about it. And in this show, we are talking, we are having a real talk here, because people need to know, people need to
Yeah.
learn from each other. And so you said after those times, nothing is permanent. That was another key thing.
Mm.
So thank you for sharing that as well. Everything will pass in life.
Yes. Yep.
When was it actually you invented the product? When was it? How old your baby were?
Think she was probably about 6 months old. I
Mhm.
was in her rocking chair feeding her in her room, and I'm, like, thinking about people want plastic-free pacifiers, they want a healthier pacifier, and I know bamboo's on the rise and, these plastic-free materials, and, okay, if I were to make a pacifier, because like, the ones I found were not cute. You like Part of the fun as a new parent is putting together these outfits and taking pictures. And if that is the highlight of your day, because sometimes it is, sometimes just getting dressed and taking a cute picture is like today's success. And that's okay. That is okay. So these ugly pacifiers, these are the ones my daughter used. They were not cute. I hated them. And I was like, there has to be a better way and plastic free and all of that. And that's why I was like, wait, what if you can swap out the nipples? Because it just solved so many different problems that I was like, wait, this is a great idea. So, just the interesting thing about parenthood and entrepreneurship, if you don't know how to do something, you'll figure it out. You will. You have to find a way. So I'm not an engineer or CAD designer or an artist. I went into Microsoft Paint like a fifth grader and put together the design. It was ridiculous, but you know what? It was there, it was on paper, and I was able to bring that to a factory, and I literally had my daughter in her stroller, And I've very much taken on the mentality of, you know what? I'm a stay-at-home mom and I've got a startup business. The two just have to coexist. And I've actually found people like that, especially in the baby industry. They like that I will show up to a conference room, with my daughter in a stroller and she's played on the floor of a conference room, and that's just what it is. Because if you can figure out multitasking in parenthood and startup, and because it's really hard to exist as a business owner only and compartmentalize being a parent. And then you also have being a parent and compartmentalizing that you also don't have a business that is living, breathing
Mm.
24/7 as well. So finding a way to make it all coexist, and you know, I'm going to have my daughter helping me, pack the boxes for shipping, and she'll enjoy that stuff. That's motor skill development right there. Kill two birds with one stone, right? So you figure it out.
Yes, I love that saying. That is a very accurate metaphor. You don't know what to do when you start your business as an entrepreneur, you'll figure it
Mhm.
out. And as a parent, it's the same. And the other
Same.
thing about both of them is you will never be ready. You will
Mhm.
never be ready for being an entrepreneur, or you will never be ready for being a parent. So I think
Yes.
it's a great, great metaphor. And I
Yeah.
really, truly want to congratulate you. It's because it's truly an inspirational story to me. And I am sure to everyone who is watching or listening this can feel the same, because so many people, especially women, want to have their own business, but
Yes.
when they have a baby, they somehow, let's say, some of them already had a company and they stopped, like you said, they couldn't make it together. And then others, they didn't have a business, but then they had a baby and then they want to start something, but they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, so they
Yeah.
don't. So that's why you are a perfect example on that. And I want to pick your brain more in this as a future
Yeah.
mom, because I need to
Yep.
know. Because I have a business since 2019 and I have been an entrepreneur, like freelancer, for almost a decade now. And of course, I am going to continue.
Yeah.
But let's say, like the first 6 months or a year, can you share your experience with your baby? Maybe like you can share after 6 months, because that's when you
When I
invented the
invented
product.
it.
So like 6 months to a year, that part of your life with
Yeah.
your newborn. How did you deal with everything? Like you were home, you were working, and you were feeding the baby, and your husband was at work, right? So you
Yeah.
were.
Yeah. And
So
he works long hours, 6 days a week. Like he literally is only home to help like one day a week. That's it.
oh,
So
there.
yeah, it was like it was a lot.
Oh my God.
Um, just like and I think you'll understand this. In entrepreneurship, you also have seasons. This is not permanent. Remembering that is huge. Like my daughter is home for the summer. So me trying to like work and schedule things, and I'm like, this is a season. We very much had to have open communication, and we would try to like entrepreneurship and parenting, you want to find a partner that truly supports you. Because if you don't have a partner that actually supports you in entrepreneurship, a lot of it relates over to parenthood, because there's changes and struggles and stressors. So having that open communication of, there would be nights he'd look at me and be like, I got the night shift. Like, I got this. So there was a lot of trying to shift it. You figure out where things play in your day. So maybe her first snap of the day was my self-care time, and I'm going to shower, and that's going to be a win. And then her second nap would be, I'm going to answer some emails. So like you kind of try to figure it out, and it'll never be perfect. There are always going to be, baby has more needs today, or business has more needs today, or maybe both of them are going off, and as much as you can self-regulate yourself, the better. because in business and parenthood, you have to learn to self-regulate. You just have to, because you cannot do actions or decisions out of those emotionally heightened states. And that's really important, that we need to make sure our mental health and our nervous system are in check. And that's been one of those things I work on. Before you were an entrepreneur, she was a different person. You'll never be her again. You love her, but you're more proud of the person you are now, right?
Yes.
Parenthood's the same way. And when you do parenthood and entrepreneurship, there's a really interesting, like, cool sauce that comes out of, like, really a lot of people, their niche changes, their mission changes. I was a licensed optician before I was a stay-at-home mom. And the really cool thing about being an entrepreneur and a parent, I can go have lunch with my daughter. I can do bedtime with my daughter. But yeah, I might be up late working, but you know what? I'm working for myself. And
Mm.
I get to be here for if my daughter's having a rough day, let's spend a couple hours together. I'll get back to work later. There are emails I can handle sitting with her while she's watching Moana. And there
Mhm.
are meetings and emails I have to handle when she's not there. It's all one big juggling act and trying to figure it out. And a lot of people talk about, I'm trying to find balance. You never will. It's almost like a swinging pendulum of this needs more this has more needs more attention, and then this needs more attention. And you just kind of have to go with the ebb and flow of it and fit things in where you can. But giving yourself grace in that process of they're only little once, that's huge. They're only little ones,
Mm.
and you don't get that time back. So I do give myself grace there, because that's what makes it worth. If I'm up working till 11 o'clock at night, at least it's my own business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, great insights and feedback, like great advice for people. And I will, thankfully, this will be like forever episode. I can go back and listen, and I can always reach out to you when
Yeah.
I have my baby, because like it's a very important decision as well
Yeah.
as
It's
a woman.
huge.
It's
And you know what? You're on a meeting, and your baby's supposed to be napping. They're fighting their nap. They're crying. You're in a meeting. You're trying to We are superhuman sometimes and make it work. Life is messy. Entrepreneurship is messy. Babies are messy. It just is. It's a moment in time. It will pass and it will be okay. Even though it's really stressful in this second, it will be okay.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Like I want to call you as a parent, um, mom for parents, or like a coach for parents. Like I want to call you in so many different titles, because you are very comforting and looking for a very positive perspective,
Yeah.
and sharing all of your truth and everything that you went through. You're not
Yeah.
hiding anything. I can see that
No.
you're very open energy. So I want to ask you, what are the things, maybe a couple of things or three tips you can share with the parents who are entrepreneurs, or entrepreneurs who are parents or going to be parents? What would you give them such a delightful advice?
Yeah. Um, if you already are an entrepreneur, you already have the mental building blocks to tackle parenthood. You already know how to overcome hurdles, and things don't go the way you anticipated. And sometimes it's a crapshoot. So you already have that there. Trust in that. You've already learned to fall and get back up again, and either try something differently or accept, that wasn't my best moment.
Mhm.
It's the same thing. So give yourself grace in knowing that you will be fine. You'll get through it. It's very similar. Um, Embarking on entrepreneurship and parenthood at the same time, like I did, was a little kooky, but you know what? You come to the other side as like a new, improved person that you become so proud of, because you have to go through the ish to get to the juicy good, like the stuff that's worth having in life. You got to
Mhm.
work for it and get through it to get to the other side. There is another side. So giving yourself grace, really trying to work on regulating your emotions. Huge, like probably the biggest tip I can give anyone is, because you cannot parent or make business decisions out of that. The other thing is really asking for help in your support group. You just have to build that network. One of the people that I know I can call, my daughter's been playing with her granddaughter for 2 years now, 2.5 years now. We met at a library group and we just instantly connected, and we've had the girls together over the years. And she's somebody I can call that is part of my circle, that we live 7 hours away from any family. We don't have anybody physically here. So you have to create a community, and it is absolutely worth investing as a business owner and as a parent, investing in the people and the network around you to develop that community. It's huge.
Yes, I love that. I'm here listening to you. I just want to listen and you to share your insights and inspiration and all the things you have. It's very amazing to listen to you, and the more you talk, the more I get inspired. And thank you for doing what you're doing, because I believe that every parent who is going through the things you went through need your vibe, need your energy and advices, and of course the product you invented. So tell us how you work with people.
So the Soothe Beginnings pacifier, so that's what you're asking about, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the pacifier is actually launching in 6 weeks. I'm launching it in the US first.
Okay.
It will be expanding beyond that, but if and when there's a time you need one, I will ship you one. Don't even stress about it. But yeah, so we're shipping in the US in 6 weeks. So the starter kit is, the cap and shield, the 3 interchangeable nipples, because not a lot of people know this, but this much wider nipple is actually what a nursing baby needs. They have a totally different latch than a bottle-fed baby. So that's where, having something that actually goes on the feeding journey with you is very helpful. So that's soothebeginnings.com. I have a group on Facebook. I have a passion for helping first-time parents, because you don't know what you don't know, especially when it comes to safety and all of that. So I have a group on Facebook, Empowered Pregnancy Prep, the group, that people are welcome to join. I give tips and tricks and all the things I wish I knew. So people can always reach out, ask if they need pacifier recommendations, bottle recommendations. Like, I truly love helping parents, and that's been a big thing. And I'm very active on TikTok at Soothe Beginnings. Very active on TikTok, and I have a fun time with that one. There's a lot of parents that, like, they relate to it, or parents to be that are like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that, latex pacifiers are causing allergies. And so I really try to, in many different places, spread the information and be a resource for parents.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I will put all the links below our show so people can find your products and find the community you built. It's so exciting. It's only 6 weeks away, and I can't wait that you expand to Europe, because I'm in Europe. So
I will take care of you. Don't even worry.
Yes, and I will privately ask your doctor's name. So
yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. It was a joy to have you, like really such a joy to have you. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Keep doing, keep inspiring. And yes, if you want to have something else, like a last sentence maybe, then we can call it a day.
I just want to thank you for having a platform that is to inspire, that is for positive people that have overcome things, how they get through things, because these are the stories we need to share.
Yes. Thank you. Have a great day. Have a great day, everyone who tuned in. Thank you. Please share this episode with the one who needs to hear. Bye. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and now you can apply it to your life. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe to the Coffee O'Clock podcast on Apple and leave us a review. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you feel like someone needs to listen to this episode, share it on your social media or text the link to that person to make an impact in their life. Be sure to tune in every Monday for new episodes. You can also watch the episodes and find more inspiration on my Instagram, which is at JOYYPURCU. Until next time, make sure to spend some time with you and stay with joy.